let's talk about how to reach audiences. Now, I hope you never get an audience like this, but this is the image that I recommend that you keep in your head when you're thinking about your audience. And that is, assume, when you're developing your presentation, that your audience does not care what you're going to say. And that makes it more challenging for you to make your presentation compelling, engaging, interesting, to grab your audience, to turn this audience into this audience. So keep that in your mind. If you're starting to do your presentation, you say, okay, my audience doesn't care what I'm going to say. I'm going to put them to sleep unless I do something. Now, there's a reality that you face that previous generations of presenters did not face, and that is your audience has access to the world through the internet. They have laptops, they have cell phones, they could just as easily be looking at their email, making restaurant reservations, stuff like that. So it's more of a challenge for you to keep that audience engaged than it has been in the past. Now, your audience also brings to the presentation all of the things that they're thinking about that day. So, what have you thought about? Some of you folks tell me, what have you thought about in the last 30 minutes that had nothing to do with this presentation? Coffee. Coffee? Yeah, me too. I had a big cup and I'm thinking, I could use another. The point is, your audience brings to any presentation all of the concerns they have for the day. And your job is to take them out of their daily lives and into your presentation. You also compete with the media. This is a very famous Doctor Strange. It's a beautiful special effects movie. Your audience goes to see special effects movies. They watch documentaries that are professionally done. So I'm not saying that you have to spend millions of dollars on special effects, but your presentation has to look professional. It can't look amateurish. It can't look half-baked. But the tools and the techniques that I'm going to give you let you do that. And the good thing is they don't cost $1 million. The tools and the techniques that I'm going to give you are either free or inexpensive, and you can learn them in literally 30 minutes. A popular misconception that a lot of presenters have is, I teach a class, so I know how to talk to lay audiences. But a lay audience is not a class. A class comprises students who are interested in the topic. They've done the homework, presumably. They want the credit hours. They want the grade. So they're very motivated. You can't assume that with an audience. You have to assume that they're that audience that doesn't care what you're going to say. It's not a paper. Although a lot of scientists conflate the two. They think, okay, all I have to do is put up my slides and talk about them, and everything's going to work out fine. But with the paper, explanations are read. With the talk, explanations are heard. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about your perceptual and information processing machinery. Your auditory system is capable of processing speech twice as fast as people normally talk. So that means, you'll see people who double the speed of podcasts, and they can understand them perfectly well. What that means is, if I were to get up here and stand behind the podium and talk at my normal rate of speed, you're going to get bored. Your processing can go twice as fast as I'm normally talking. Right now, you're getting the urge to check your email, aren't you? It's kind of coming up, but I'm not going to do that. So, another difference is that a paper is self-paced, the talk is speaker-paced. With a paper, you read it at the speed that you're comfortable with. With a talk, I have to give you information at a speed, at a pace that's comfortable for you to absorb. And that has a lot to do with the images, the graphics I'm going to show you. With a paper, it's not interactive, the talk is interactive. Obviously, did I say you can interrupt me? I may have not said that. Please feel free to interrupt me during the presentation. I'd like to hear from you. So as questions occur, interrupt me. You obviously can't talk, can't ask questions of an author of a paper, but you can ask questions of a speaker. So a paper has sufficient text, a talk has limited text. A paper you can have 1,000 words, 2,000 words. With a talk, studies have shown you can only put 40 words on the screen before you overwhelm your audience. 40 words. I can only say a certain number of words during the presentation, so that limits the bandwidth of information you can get out. So as a result, points can be complicated in a paper, they have to be simpler in a talk. Paper has high resolution visuals. You can put in a paper a very dense graph, chart, whatever, and people can sit there and read it, digest it, and so forth, because they can see all the data. With a talk, this is a low resolution medium. And that has a lot of implications about what you can put on the screen and still be relevant. So, this is the image that I suggest you keep in your head when you're talking about your individual audience members. Now, I'm not being pejorative here. My point is that you are primates. I'm a primate. Your audience is primates. We all have perceptual and information processing machinery that you have to take into account when you're communicating with your audience. That means that this is not a valid model of communication. But I think this is a model that a lot of presenters have in their heads, either explicitly or implicitly. They think, okay, it'll pour right into my audience's heads. All I got to do is put my graphs and charts and stuff up there and talk in any way I want, and it'll go into their audience's heads. I'm going to show you how to really get into your audience's heads, to manage that perceptual and information processing machinery in a way that's beneficial to you.